Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what? Today is Monday Morning Chats with Sack, and Sack is me. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. Now, I do apologize. I know I said 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm about 6 minutes behind. I didn't realize how hot it was, so I had to change what I was going to wear to work today. So that way I'm not as hot, but I'm here. Like I said before, I hope that you guys had a phenomenal weekend. I honestly had a great weekend. Like it was a really dope weekend. Got a chance to, of course, any time with family is always good for me. Like always good for me. Got a chance to. I went to Dallas this past weekend, so that was dope. Got a chance to see. I have some friends that live out there, so I got a chance to link up with one of my friends. Got a chance to spend time with my beautiful niece. She's amazing. She's gorgeous, and she's just so addictive. Like you don't want to leave her side. Got a chance to do that, and just let's just say I had a lot of fun to the extent where I was exhausted on the plane, but I made it back. And Sunday, I used that time to just rest, like just sleeping because I was tired. But I do want to get, and it is Monday, so Monday, what is it? Man Crush Monday. So for all the men out there, I hope that you guys enjoyed your Father's Day. It doesn't matter if you have children biologically, but if you are a father figure to anyone's child, I salute you. For those dads that decide to step up and take care of somebody else's child, I salute you and I respect you for that. It takes a special type of guy to raise somebody's child that's not their own. So if that's you, man, I salute you and I salute all the men. So if I had to have like my man crush Monday, it's to all the dope dads out there. You're doing your thing, keep doing your thing, and I see you, King. I see you. So for today, I was thinking about what I should say. And I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to at least let you guys know a day in advance, like what I'm going to talk about. Now, sometimes I just like think about things, like just think about things. But for these two questions, it came up in conversations that I had. So the first question is, what does it mean to love someone unconditionally? So most of you guys know that if you listen to some of my videos or if you know me as a person, I love my dad. Like me and my dad are really close. I'm close with my parents, but me and my dad, we have like a special relationship. And one of the things I do appreciate is that we do have difficult conversations. Like we have difficult conversations. I'll let him know, like, hey, dad, the things that you said, I disagree. And I'm not the person where I always want to be right. Like, that's just not who I am. Like, I'm okay with being wrong. And if I hurt your feelings, check me and tell me. Because I'll respect you even more for that instead of just letting me slide. And the same thing go to my dad. I'll tell my dad, like, hey, like, if you love me, check me. If you think that I said something inappropriate, let me know. But I'm going to do the same for you. So we were on the phone the other day, and we were talking about a situation. We were talking about something. And, he made up a comment like, if someone's in church, if they go to church, they should accept people for who they are. And, they shouldn't look at them any more or less. And so it came with the question of, what does it mean to love someone unconditionally? For me, and, I'm a Christian too. So, of course, I relate things to the Bible as well. But for me, to love somebody unconditionally, that means that you love them for who they are. You accept them for who they are. Everyone has flaws, right? No one's not perfect. And I think for me, when I love somebody, what makes me love them even more is the flaws that they have. Because I have flaws too. There's always things that we're working on, right? There's always something that we can improve on. Because we're not perfect. We're all a work in progress. So when you love someone unconditionally, you don't love them with conditions. Conditions mean, oh, I love you if you do this. I love you if you don't do that. No, I love you for who you are. However, the thing that me and my dad was going back and forth with is that when you love someone unconditionally, that means that you accept them. You accept them for who they are. You can accept the fact that this person may never change. And you can make the decision to say, hey, I love you unconditionally, but it does not mean that I have to be in your life. And I told my dad, just because someone loves you unconditionally, that does not mean they have to accept bad behavior. That's not good. And your bad behavior can affect them mentally, and it can affect them emotionally, and it can affect them physically. So just because someone loves you unconditionally meaning they love you no matter what. You can have some bad traits about you. You can still be loved. You are capable of being loved. And I think sometimes people think, well, there's some things about me that I may not like, but just because there's some things that you may not like about yourself, that does not mean that you can't be loved. You can still be loved. Everyone on this earth is capable of receiving love. The question is, are you willing to receive it? And you can also give out love. And some people may interpret your love a little differently, but if it's something that you're able to give out, that's a good thing. But it does not mean when you love someone unconditionally, it does not mean that they just accept your bad behavior. That's like you loving somebody and they keep treating you bad over and over and over and over again. Don't let love get in the way where you're saying, I'm just going to accept this. You can make the decision and say, hey, this is who this person is. This is exactly who they are. And I can make a decision to say, hey, I love you. I love you unconditionally, but I don't have to accept this behavior. And the one thing about unconditional love is that you can accept the fact that that person may never change. And you can make the decision to say, hey, I don't need this. So I told my dad that. I said, well, Dad, think about your behavior. I said, if there's things that you're doing and it's hurting people's feelings, do they have the right to keep accepting it over and over and over again just because they love you or just because they go to church? You have to think about it. And I give you an example. For me, I love unconditionally. If I tell you that I love you for exactly for who you are. You don't have to be this perfect person. I'm damn sure I'm not perfect. I love you for who you are. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair. I don't care if you had third-degree burns all over your face. I don't love people based on what they look like. I love them for their soul. I love them for just being who they are. Yeah, we all have messed up things about us. I do. Okay, I'm raising my hand. Like, I ain't perfect. I ain't perfect at all. If you think I'm perfect, please take that image of me out your head. Like, I'm not perfect at all. I make mistakes all the time. But I'm giving grace, and I give grace to other people. I know that even though when you love somebody unconditionally, sometimes they may hurt your feelings, and they're human. You know what I mean? Like, they're human. People will hurt your feelings. But then you have to distinguish and say, okay, well, I let this person know that they're hurting my feelings. If they keep doing it over and over again, are they doing this intentionally? And that's what I was telling my dad. Like, Dad, when you love somebody unconditionally, when you love someone, they will hurt your feelings. That's just a part of their nature because we're human. But if you keep doing repeated things to that person over and over again, like, should they accept that, right? Should they accept it? So, I'll give you one example. This is like a big topic, and it's June, so it's Pride Month. So, I don't care if you are transgender. I don't care if you are a lesbian. I don't care if you're bisexual. I don't care if you're gay. If you're one of those things, if you identify as one of those things, as one of those for your sexual orientation, I still love you as a person. And one of my, I have a few cousins that are gay. I love them to death. I probably love them a little more only because I know there's people in the world that don't accept them for who they love. I have a cousin that's gay. I pretty much knew she was gay. Oh, excuse me. I pretty much knew she was gay for a very long time. She never, said anything. I just knew. And one day I told her we were somewhere. And one day I told her, I said, I love you, right? We're out somewhere. She was buying something for someone. I guess it was someone that she was seeing. And I was like, oh, my cousin got good taste. It's like I taught her well. And I said, I love you for you. I love you for who you are. I said, if you love that person, I love them. I said, as long as they treat you right, I don't care who it is. But I love you for you. I don't love you I'm not going to say I don't love you a little less because you're gay. I probably love you a little bit more because I know there's some people that may not accept for who you are. But I love you. I love you. I don't care if you're gay. I love you for who you are. The person that you love should not affect how I love you. I'm not going to love you. I'm not going to love you different. I'm not going to love you less. I'll just probably love you a little bit more because I know there's some nasty people in this world that may not accept you. But I love you for who you are. And that's it. And she said, I know you love me, Sakina. I said, I love you regardless. I don't care who you love. I love you. And it's funny because, there's some people in the church that don't agree with it, right? They say, oh, it's a sin and you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'll tell you this, I'm a Christian and I read the Bible. I love God. I praise God. I run a Bible study. But the one thing I'm going to tell you is that, yeah, I'm a Christian. Just because you love somebody and they're gay, that does not mean that you're saying you love them and you're saying that you accept their lifestyle. You may not have to accept it, but that's a part of loving somebody unconditionally. You can accept the fact that they may do some things that your religion may not agree with, or there's some things that you may not agree with, but that doesn't mean that you love them any less. And there's some people that will say, you're a Christian and you can't accept people. I say, excuse me, you need to read the Bible all together, because don't read one scripture and then interpret it to make it fit your little story. Okay, so for me, it doesn't mean, hey, I accept that and I accept your lifestyle. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you identify as being gay, bisexual, transgender, or whatever, I still love you. I love you. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. I don't care what you do. Yeah, I don't care what you do. I love you. As long as it's not jeopardizing your life, I love you. That's it. I had another family member, I have a few family, but this one family member in particular struggled with drug addiction. And they were pretty nervous to be around me, right? They were nervous to be around me. And one of the things that they said to me was, well, I don't know if you'll accept me. I don't know if you accept me. You're a lawyer. I don't know if you're going to look at me any differently. And I said, my career, my title has nothing to do with how I love somebody. I don't give a damn about being a lawyer. That's just one side. That's one part of who I am. It's not all who I am. And I don't let titles define me. Like when I go somewhere, like sometimes my friends would introduce me like, yo, she's a lawyer. No, just introduce me as Sakina. If the conversation comes about where they ask me about my profession, I would say it, but I don't lead with my title. Like that's just, I'm Sakina. I'm a human being. I just happen to be a lawyer, but that's not all who I am. Some people do that. Some people like the idea of, oh, I'm going to just tell this person about my profession and I'm going to let them know all the things I accomplished. I don't need to tell you all that. I'm Sakina. And I told this family member that, like, I don't care about none of that stuff. Like, I love you for who you are. Now, I may not accept what you're doing because I know what it can do to you and it can harm you, but I'm here. But I love you regardless. I don't care if you have a drug addiction. I still love you. I love you unconditionally. I love you no matter what. And even though I may not understand, it does not mean I can't show empathy for you. And empathy doesn't mean that, hey, I know exactly what you're going through. I may not know exactly what you're going through, but I can put myself in your shoes. That's what empathy means to me. And I told this person that, like, hey, I may not know what it's like to go through a drug addiction. I don't know. But what I can tell you is I'm going to be supportive. And if there's some things I don't know about, like, I'll read about it. Like how to show support to someone that struggles with a drug addiction. I read about it. And I said, hey, I may not know what you're going through. I may not know what it feels like. I know you want help. And I may not be able to say, hey, I experienced this. No, but what I can say is that I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to support you. Whatever it means, whatever I have to do to support you during this recovery, I'm going to be there for you. No matter what, I'm going to be there. So if you need me to take you to go get help, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And that's what I did. And I said, but I love you unconditionally. I don't love you any less because you struggle with a problem. We all have struggles. They just different titles. Some people struggle with drug addiction. Some people struggle with their identity. They're not sure who they are. Some people struggle with abandonment issues. We all have our own struggles. So your struggle doesn't make you any less. And just because you had this struggle, it doesn't mean that that's worse than the next person. It's just labeled different. It just looks different. But it's still a struggle. So I'm going to still love you regardless. I may not accept what you're doing, but what I can do is say, hey, let me extend my hand and let me help you. And when I tell you that I'm going to help you, I'm going to be there. I'm not going to leave you by yourself. And then one thing about when you're helping somebody in recovery is that you can break promises. Like you can break promises. Like if you say that you're going to do something, like make sure you do it. Like be accountable to your own words. Like hold yourself accountable. Now things happen. We're human. If you say, hey, like, hey, I can't make it to this day, or I can't do this, you got to let that person know, because that person, when someone is struggling for drug addiction and you are trying to help them, you have to let them know, like, hey, I'm going to be there, because it's hard. And I'm not telling you based on my own experience, just based on like just talking to family members that had drug addictions. Like, you had to let them know, like, hey, I'm gonna be there. Hey, if there's visiting hours, hey, I'm gonna be there. And it's funny because his family member said, well, what about your job? Are you able to help me? I said, I don't give a damn about my job. Like, if my job is not letting me help you, then I'll find another one. I'm gonna be there. And I'm in a position in my career where, hey, if I need to take off for a few days, I'm not asking questions. I'm taking off. And that's where I was at. I said, hey, don't worry about my job. Don't worry about my schedule. If I tell you I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you. But that's what it means to just love somebody unconditionally. You love them no matter what. You love them no matter what. The second question was, does therapy really help? So I was talking to one of my girlfriends, talked about therapy. She talked about, like, having a life coach and what does that mean, and how it worked for her. I'll say this when it comes to therapy. This is my own opinion. Therapy works if you're willing to be open. Therapy works if you're willing to do the work. Therapy helps if your alternative goal is to be healed and to be healthy. So let me break that down. I look at therapy like this. You're getting in the car. It's two people. It's you and another person. Another person is a therapist. You're the driver. Your therapist is a passenger. So as you're driving, this therapist don't know anything about you. So it's all up to you to let this therapist know everything about you so they can help you the best way that they can. If you're withholding information like, oh, I'm not going to tell my therapist this, like, what purpose does it serve if you're coming there to get healed? And the things that are making you sick, you're not telling them about it. So you have to be open. And yet, in therapy, when you're trying to heal, it's messy. It's not something where it's just like, oh, hey, we're going to put the pieces together. No, there's going to be some things in therapy where you're going to be stretched. You may cry. You may fall apart. But that's all a part of the process. So I look at therapy as being in a car with two people. You and your therapist. Your therapist is on the passenger side. You're the driver. So as you're driving, you had the choice to tell your therapist everything. So as you're driving, you had the choice to say, hey, let me take you back to when I was a child. Let me tell you when things first just got out of hand, right? Because that's where most of our problems, honestly, that's where most of our problems really stem from, our childhood. Like, there's a lot of, and it's sad because sometimes, well, it's not sad, it's human. Most of our problems that we have, in my opinion, they all start when we're younger. And as we get older, they develop into bigger problems as adults. And sometimes we don't take that initiative to say, hey, we need help. I need somebody to talk to. Because in the Black community, therapy is like a taboo. Like, oh, you crazy if you talk to somebody. I don't give a damn if you call me crazy. I love my therapist. And matter of fact, I got a therapy appointment next month. And I love my therapist. And I made a decision to say, hey, I came here for one problem, but I want to be stretched. And so I'm going to keep going over and over and over again. And the thing I told my therapist, I said, yeah, I came here because I wanted to have a better relationship with a family member. I wanted to have a better relationship. And like, how do I do? I'll be honest, I wanted to have a better relationship with my mom. And so what I did was I said everything I needed to say to my mom. And it was like me seeing all this stuff. And it was like, damn, a wound has opened. It's like, it's like a hurt piece. And it's like this wound that's open. And now it's like, okay, well, I don't want to put a Band-Aid over it. A Band-Aid may, close the wound and you don't see it. But are you really giving it air to heal? And I said, you know what? After I said everything I said, it was like, okay, this monkey is off my back. I said things I need to say over years. I need to express myself. And we had conversations in the past, but this conversation was different. And I prayed about it. And I said, God, I want to heal from it. I don't want to put a Band-Aid over it anymore. I want to actually talk about it and talk about my feelings. And I said, I can't go to a family member and tell them. I need to talk to somebody else. And I went to therapy. I said, you know what? I let my therapist know. At first, I was like, damn, I'm telling this stranger all my secrets. Like, I'm telling this therapist. Now, there were some things I withheld. I was like, chick, I don't know you. That's number one. Don't know you. I'm not trying to tell you all my business. But after a while, I established trust with her, and I realized that, hey, if I want to get better, hey, if I want to do this, I want to do that, I gotta be open. And yeah, it's hard telling people your secrets. It's hard telling people like, hey, I did some fucked up stuff. Like, that's hard telling somebody. But when I went to therapy, I told her exactly what I wanted to accomplish. And as we start going through therapy session, I said, hey, the one thing I'm going to tell you is I'm very aware of a lot of stuff. And I said, I want to be mentally healthy. And one of the things that I always say in the back of my mind, and these are some of the things I pray for. I pray to God, I want to be a mentally and emotionally available person. That way, when I become a wife, when I become a mother, like all my emotions, I'm able to control that, so that way I'm not having outbursts. And one of the biggest reasons why I decided to just stay in therapy, and it may not be no problem, like, girl, because I got to the point in my life where I realized my friends don't need to know everything. And it's not saying that they knew a lot of stuff before, but when there's some problems I want to address, I'd rather just tell my therapist first. My friends, we have relationships, so it's like, okay, well, I'm going to tell you different pieces of it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you love me and you want the best for me. So you're going to only see things from your own lens. My therapist sees things from a different lens. And she's able to tell me like, hey, I think you could do things a different way. And so one of the reasons why I decided to say, hey, I'm going to just have my therapist forever. First of all, my insurance pays for it. So let me be clear. So I'm paying for these conversations. So if I'm paying for this, sis, you're going to know my whole life. Every time I look at my explanation of benefits and I see that I'm being charged for your service, sis, I'm about to tell you everything, okay? You getting paid for my insurance, plus you getting a copay. Oh, I'm going to tell you everything, okay? I'm going to tell you everything. But one of the biggest reasons why I decided to stay in therapy is I was like, you know what? One day I want to be a wife. One day I want to be a mother. And if I know what I know, based on my reading articles, based on me reading a self-help therapy and even being in therapy and even being aware of the things of my family, I said most people go to therapy as adults because of issues they had as a child. And don't get me wrong, some people may not have issues as a child. Maybe they have issues as an adult and they don't know how to adjust or whatever the case may be. If I know what I know, I'm not just going to therapy for myself. I'm going to therapy for my future kids. So that way, they're not going to therapy because they are going through the problems that I didn't face. So my children decide to go to therapy. It has nothing to do. Well, I hope that it has nothing to do with my parenting. But for me, it's making a decision to say, hey, I want to be mentally healthy. I don't want my child to grow up and say, hey, I'm going to therapy because I felt like my mom didn't love me, or I felt like she didn't give me no attention. I was abandoned. I don't want those things. So for me, it's like, I even told my therapist, I said, hey, I want to be mentally healthy. This is the type of person that I want to be, and I'm almost there. And, she was like, well, you came here for a particular reason. Like, I mean, I think you did good. I think you're doing all the right steps. I was like, girl, bitch, are you trying to end our relationship? Like, you're not going to dump me. I told her, I was like, you're not going to dump me. So I'm going to come in. And I told her, I said, me coming into therapy, it's like a checkup. Like, just like you go to your physician and get your annual checkup. Hey, that's how I look at therapy. And I said, hey, I may need more than a year checkup, or I said, hey, I want to go quarterly. If I realize, hey, something's bothering me, I need to get it off my chest, I'm going to go more than quarterly. I'm going to go as much as I need to until I feel like I'm able to handle this problem on my own. And so for me, it's just like, hey, I want to be mentally healthy. I don't want my future kids to go to therapy like, yeah, I wish my mom was a better mom. I don't want that. But I'm okay with acknowledging and saying, hey, there's some things I want to improve on, and no, I'm not perfect at all. But it's making that decision. So therapy, I think therapy, it really works, but you have to go in with an open mind. You have to know that you're not perfect, right? And I would hear people say, like, I have some strengths and I have some weaknesses. But it's funny because I'll find some people where they will just focus on their strengths to be stronger, but their weaknesses, they don't do anything about it. Like, hey, I'm going to just push this to the side. But how can you become a balanced person? How can you become better if you don't work on the things that you struggle at? Like, I'll tell you one thing about me. When I was younger, I would say my early 20s, like me, I used to be cold. Like, I didn't feel anything. And Like, if somebody hurt me, I'm like, you know what? They're dead to me. Like, they don't exist. I can see them. I can walk. We could walk on the same sidewalk, and I'll walk past as if I don't know them. And I realized, like, hey, that's not like, it's not good behavior. Or if somebody pissed me off, I didn't have to have a conversation with them. I'll just say, screw them, bye, and I won't have a conversation. They will probably know how I felt. They probably would never know like how I really felt. Just like, damn, Sakina just like cut me off. Like, why did she cut me off? Like, why did she do that? And I realized, like, hey, like, that's not good. And for me, I was like, damn, I'm a communication studies minor in college. Just because you got education, it doesn't mean you're an expert at it. So I had to work on it. Like, I had to work on, like, even telling people how I feel, even though it hurts, and even though they may not be receptive of it. Like, just telling people how I feel. You don't know if they're going to agree or disagree. You just say it. Like, one of the things I would hear growing up, like my older friends, and they'll tell me, like, you know, if you're with somebody, never tell the person that you love them first. And I didn't understand. I was like, what does that mean? And I would tell, like, my guy friends, like, well, like, what? And my guy friends, like, I don't really get that. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, so I had to wait, but I'm not saying, like, after a week, hey, I love you. No, I'm not doing it. And it takes me sometimes for me to develop those feelings. And I'm like, well, why can I say it when I feel it? And I got to the point I was like, hey, I want to be fearless in this. If you don't feel the same way, okay, I'm just telling you. I'm not saying this so you can say it back. We're not kids. Like, I'm not trying to tell you to mimic what I say. But, hey, if I say this, I mean it. And you have to be okay with knowing that someone may not feel the same way. Or they may not feel the same way just yet. But in therapy, you know, you learn a lot of things. And even before therapy, like, really understanding that, hey, my feelings are valid. Like, my feelings are valid. And if you don't know that, in therapy, that could open you up and say, hey, my feelings are valid. Like, it's okay that I feel this way. It's okay that I feel hurt. And sometimes people ignore their own feelings. Like, no, it's okay to feel exactly how you feel. And don't let somebody make you feel less of a person for feeling how you feel. You are entitled to your own feelings. But do you know how to control your emotions? Like, if you're hurt about something, do you know how to control those hurt emotions? Or are you just, like, taking it out on everybody? Like, hey, I'm going to do a brick at you, brick at you, brick at you, brick at you. Are you able to control that? And that's what therapy does. You know, you talk to a therapist, and there may be some tools out there to actually help you. You can actually, now, for me, I love Pinterest. Like, one of my friends, like, I would, like, use therapy tools on this person. Like, hey, like, try this out. Hey, and I'm a believer, like, black love. So my friends, like, say, Sakina, like, I'm having issues with my relationship. I'm like, hey, I don't never tell somebody, like, you just need to, I'm like, hey, what do you think? I'll never say, hey, like, screw this person. I'm like, hey, what do you think? Hey, you're in it, not me. You know more about this person than me. But hey, have you looked at this therapy tool? I think it can help you, because I believe in love, and I believe in people coming together. I believe that we're better together. And sometimes my friends will like send me my own text message, like, remember you said this? I'm like, yeah. So there's therapy tools out there that can help you to go through things. If you realize, hey, I need more than just this therapy tool, I need somebody to talk to. That's absolutely okay. So therapy, I think it does work, but you got to be open to be stressed. You have to be open to know that, hey, some things you went about ways may not be the right approach. And therapy will teach you another way. For me, you know, like, you know, I'm an assertive person, but making sure I'm assertive at all times. Making sure that my voice is heard, making sure that my delivery is right, making sure my tone is right. The one thing that I stress to my therapist, and this is one thing I had to learn on my own, is that you can control what you say. You can control the words that come out your mouth. You can control your delivery. You can control your tone. You can never control how people feel. And so sometimes people may not express themselves. They're like, I don't know how this person's going to feel. I mean, you can't control that. But you can control how you deliver your message to somebody, because, you know, people may forget what you said, but they may never forget how it made them feel. So you could tell somebody, hey, you disagree. When it comes back to loving somebody unconditionally, you can agree to disagree. But just because you agree to disagree, that doesn't mean that you love the person any less. I tell my dad all the time, hey, we're going to disagree on a lot of stuff, but it doesn't mean I love you less. I still love you. We just don't agree on the same things. And lastly, therapy does work. I'll say this: healing is messy, but being healthy, mentally healthy, that is the goal. So if that is your goal, therapy can help. You don't have to just go to therapy for one thing. You can make a decision to stay in therapy. That's why I love my pastor. My pastor goes to therapy all the time. And he'll say, there may not be problems I'm going through, but I always want to talk to somebody. And for me, it's learning to say everything to my therapist and say less to people that surround me. Because everybody has their own opinions. And I let my therapist know I really don't give a damn about nobody's opinion. Like, I don't care. But some people will act on their opinions and they may treat you differently. And you have to make a decision to say, hey, I don't like how this person is treating me. So for my mental health and to protect my mental health and my peace, I may not be around this person as much. And that's okay. I hope that this message helped you in a way where you know that, hey, you can love somebody unconditionally and know they still got some mess with them. We all are messed up. We are all a work in progress. And I'm here to tell you that, you are capable of receiving the best love. Don't ever think that you are entitled to have a half-ass love. Like, you can be loved and you can be loved properly. It's okay. Like, it's okay for someone to love you. Like, you are entitled. You are capable of receiving it. The question is, are you able to receive the love that people are giving to you? If it's healthy. Now, if it's like bad love and it's not good love, then you don't have to accept that. But you are entitled to receive good love. You're entitled to that. Don't ever think that you're not capable of being loved. Yeah, we have flaws. We have things that are jacked up about us, but you are still capable of being loved. You're still capable of being loved. I guarantee you. Write all the things that you don't like about yourself. Write all the flaws that you have. There's somebody out there that can still love you for all those things. They'll take that piece of paper and kiss it and say, hey, I still love you. You're capable of being loved. Don't ever forget that. But you have to know that someone can make the decision to still love you unconditionally and not accept your bad behavior. And if you had bad behavior, you have to ask yourself, well, hey, if people keep telling me this all the time, that may be something I need to work on. And boom, may need to go to therapy. And does therapy really work? I think it does. I think that it's up to you to make it work. You have to be open. You have to be stretching. There may be sessions where you cry. Listen, when I was younger, I'd be like, I'm not going to cry in front of anybody. That's weak. Me now, if I'm hurt, I don't care who's around. Ma'am, give me that sir, ma'am, give me that tissue. I'm expressing myself. This really hurts. And the tears will come down my eye. I don't got to hold my tears for somebody. Why? No, because something hurt. It bothers me, and I'm going to express how I feel. So therapy does work. You just have to make the decision to say, I want to be healed. I want to be healed. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. I hope that you have a great Monday. I hope that you just never forget that you are amazing. And I know I say that all the time, but you'd be surprised. Like, some people don't realize how great they are, but you are great. You are capable of amazing things. You are dope. You are phenomenal. You are extraordinary. There's only one person in this world that's you. Be happy with the person that you see in the mirror because you're amazing. If you're a woman, you are beautiful. If you're a man, you are handsome. I don't care if you have a bald head. I don't care if you have a fade. I don't care if you have a mustache. I don't care if you don't have a mustache. Maybe you're bald or maybe you have a beard that's not connected. Whatever it is, you're still loved. You're still handsome. You're still amazing. Like, never forget that. I hope that you have a great Monday. I hope that the rest of your week is phenomenal. I hope that is great. I hope that you do some great stuff. Now, if you're in the DMV and Baltimore area, it's going to be a little hot today, so please make sure you drink your water. I have severe allergies, so guess what? I'm going to be taking my medicine. So this is like allergy relief. This helps me a lot. This saves me. So I hope that you have a great day. Lastly, I do these Monday morning chats with Zach every morning. These are real testimonies. These are not fake stories. This is my own life. I'm being vulnerable, telling you exactly how I feel about things and things I experience. And I don't care. I'm not trying to embarrass myself, but I like to use my testimonies as a way to set somebody free. Like, hey, you're not the only person that may be going through this. There may be an experience where you experienced the same thing I was able to overcome. And I'm here to let you know, like, hey, you can survive. I use it as a way to encourage people to just never give up on their dreams. I failed the bar 3 times. I passed on the 4th try. That doesn't make me less of an attorney. I can tell you I had some failed relationships. I'm not afraid to say that, but I learned from them. I'm here to tell you that at one point in my life, I didn't know how to forgive, but I forgive now. But I make a decision to forgive every single day. There was a time in my life where I was afraid of love, but now I want to be fearless in love. I'm not afraid to love somebody. I'm not afraid. Before you love somebody, you gotta love yourself. So I love myself, and I want to encourage other people to love themselves too. You can love yourself. Love yourself with all your flaws. We're not perfect. I know that one eyebrow is shorter than the other. One leg is bigger than the other. Sometimes I limp because I had a bus accident. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I want to have a six pack. I don't have that. I still love who I am. And so I hope that you love yourself. Love yourself. You can find my videos on here, on Instagram, or you can find them on YouTube. Just type in my name, Sakina Tillman. You'll see all my videos. But that's all I have. Have a great day. Have a phenomenal day. And you're dope. Take care.